Hi, I'm Jeff Brazil with the online programs from the University of Arkansas. In this recorded webinar, you will hear Dr. Micah Hale from the College of Engineering to talk about the Masters in Construction Management. Great stuff. And remember, go Hogs!
Today, we have a special guest, Dr. Micah Hale, who is one of the department heads and the graduate coordinator for the College of Engineering. We're excited to have him. He's a really great resource, and you'll be able to, pick his brain about any questions you may have about this program. Today, the key points that we're going to go over, obviously an overview of the program, just a pretty general overview, as well as the requirements of the program, and then benefits of an online degree, a quick little guide through the admissions process, life as an online student, and then we're going to look at some resources that are available to you, as well as the estimated cost of attendance for this program, and some resources for paying for that as well. So just the general overview, this is a 100% online course. There's no campus visits that are required for this course. It is 30 credit hours. And there's an estimated 2-year completion for that. Obviously, there is some flexibility in terms of like what your workload is. Many students are working full time, so professors understand that and are able to kind of adjust when your deadlines are, or if you're able to work ahead a little bit to compensate for that. And then another great benefit is that there is no entrance exam required for this program, so it's a 100% GRE exempt. In addition, this is a really, really awesome program. It draws from a lot of different schools. So because the construction industry and construction management and project management are pretty interdisciplinary in nature, there's a lot that goes into them. This takes a really holistic approach and incorporates a lot of different aspects from the College of Business, architecture and design, and as well as some of the legal aspects of construction management. So the program requirements. So you do need a bachelor's degree. That could be a Bachelor of Arts, a Bachelor of Science, or of architecture from an accredited university with an overall GPA of 3.0 or 3.0 in the last 60 hours of that bachelor's degree. And then the required courses for this program are these here that are listed. There are 21 hours here that are required, as well as an additional 3 courses that would be electives for you to take from the graduate level. And then moving on. So I'll actually take this moment to kind of like introduce Dr. Hale and let him speak, see if there's anything that he needs to add to this, and give him a chance to kind of talk about it.
All right, thanks, Will. If you can't hear me, you can type something up in the chat box. A little bit about our program. We started in 2021 with 7 students. This past spring, we have about 51 students right now taking classes. As Will said, there are some students who take a 8-week session off, and so they may not be necessarily enrolled. I think there's about, if I remember looking on my UA Connect folder or file, there's about 70, I think, students in the program right now, but about 51 are taking classes. So just this spring, it hasn't gone into effect yet, but we've reduced the number of required courses down to 5, and it gives then the student a little more flexibility in picking some electives that they may want to take. We still take a couple of, if students are interested in operations management or engineering management, we can accept 6 hours from that program. The Fay Jones School of Architecture and Design has just started a grad program. So the reason I know that is because we have a student, she's an interior designer and is interested in also taking some courses from that program. So we allow 2, maybe 3, depending on the courses, outside of our construction management curriculum to transfer in. Most of our students, we have a variety of backgrounds from finance to landscape architecture to interior design to art history to civil mechanical engineering. So our program's kind of based is very broad, and it is based for uh, or structured towards someone who's not necessarily have a undergraduate degree in the program. So, well, that's kind of my spill. We have faculty from a wide variety of backgrounds. We have someone in the law school teaching our legal aspects course. We've got some faculty members. Generally, everyone except for one person in our program has a terminal degree, so they either have a Juris Doctorate if they're a lawyer, or they have a PhD, except for one, and the one is working on his PhD. So everyone has a terminal degree, and everybody has some background in the courses they're teaching. That's about my spill, Will.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and thank you for letting me know about the update on the list of required courses. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it'll show up in the catalog in the fall.
Okay.
It just hadn't been, it's making its way through the system. But, well, do you want to do questions now or later, Will?
I'll go ahead and get through the rest of them because it's mostly the last remaining slides are kind of just the benefits of online and like what the online programs are like in general, and then as well as the estimated cost. And then we can take questions at the end, I think. So moving on, the really great thing about an online degree is that, most of our students are working full time. So as I said before, there's a lot of flexibility in the classes. You can, if you know that you're going to have a really hectic week at work or something like that, and you want to talk with your professor and maybe be able to work ahead on some things that aren't quite some classwork that's not available yet, a lot of professors are happy to do that for you. So that way you can, stay on top of all your coursework and still be able to work full time. And then also, it's a really affordable because we make sure that no matter where you are in the world, you can pay in-state tuition. There's a lot of benefits there to that, and the university has a really awesome support network for you. And one of the guys that I really like, this Quentin Wyrick, he is a really great success story because when he started this program, he actually was working at like Hug and Hall as just like a salesperson, and his goal was to get into project management. And upon completion of the course from after graduation, he is now an assistant project manager for a construction company. So that's really, really awesome, and we're happy to see that success. So then, why the University of Arkansas as a top public research institution? Obviously, you know that you're going to get a quality education, particularly from the College of Engineering, because it has been consistently ranked as some of the best programs by the U.S. News and World Report. A lot of that is owing to the faculty. The faculty that teach on campus are the same ones that are going to be teaching the courses that you're taking. So there's a lot there in terms of knowledge, and the insight that you can gain from them is really, really great. And I think that one of this quote from Mike really sums that up, because they administer those classes with that same rigor. It's the same degree. So no matter where you are in the world, you're still going to be a Razorback. Your name is still going to be engraved on the sidewalk if you want it to be. There's going to be no distinction between a degree achieved on campus and one that's achieved online. So just a quick run through of the admission process. You can apply and then pay the application fee, submit your transcripts from the bachelor's degree, and then you're able to check the status and make sure everything went through all right, and then you'll receive a decision after that. So just a quick run through for if you're not familiar with online learning or distance education at all. We use a system called Blackboard, which is our learning management system. And from there, you can see all your classes. You can engage with fellow students as well as your professors and check due dates and things like that. This is where you'll turn in all of your assignments. And yeah, it's a really, really great platform that allows you to engage with others and take care of all your classes. You can also, there are support services there to help with like different issues that may crop up over time, you know. Um, and then for us specifically for Global Campus where we work, we've worked really, really hard to build these resources that are available to you because just because you're learning, you know, uh, distance learning doesn't mean you're learning alone. So we have these offices of like liaisons. These are people that you can call um, pretty much Monday through Saturday. And if you have any questions, if they can't answer it, they will find the person that you need to talk to get that question answered. And they'll follow up with you to make sure that uh, your questions got answered. And additionally, we have coaches and student union, which is really, really awesome. So you can kind of network with your peers and talk with them and support each other. And an online orientation that kind of, if you're not familiar with distance education at all, that is kind of a low stakes way to get you on the right track and get you set up without, you know, worrying about if something's going to affect your GPA right away. It just gives you a good footing for online learning. So. And then for the estimated cost of attendance, as I said, you'll pay in-state tuition no matter where you are, which is awesome. And for this course, the tuition per credit hour is $313. And then there are these other fees for the technology and the off-campus fee per credit hour. And these are the fall 2024 rates. I don't believe these have changed yet. So this should be accurate. And then the resources for paying for college. One thing that we really are excited about is the W.E. Manning Scholarship. So this is specific to online learning. I believe that you can apply for this every academic year. And this is just a scholarship to help online learners to, help offset the cost. Additionally, if you are an Arkansas resident, there are some other scholarships that are available to you, such as the Academic Challenge Scholarship and Future Grant. And then you'll want to fill out your FAFSA and see what other resources are available to you, like the Pell Grant, as well as if you have any other additional aid, such as military or employer reimbursements. Those are definitely worth taking a look at, talking to your employer. The best office to go to resource to get information about that is the financial aid office, which you can visit at that website there. And then this story I really, really like. So James actually works here for the university. He works for facilities management. And when kind of talking about what he's going to do with his degree, how this is going to help, and he just feels like everything that he learned is applicable to his role. And he manages huge projects here for the university. And so he puts a lot of those principles that he learned here to work there. And he's also, I believe, wanting to teach as well, become a professor here at the university, which is awesome. So feel free to check out his story and learn a little bit about that because it's really inspiring. And then to wrap up, before we take any questions that you might have, these are the contacts for the College of Engineering and the graduate school as well. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to them, as well as Jeff's contact down there and mine. So if you have any questions at all, if something comes up later, you think of something later, and you just need to get that question answered, you can shoot me an email or Jeff an email or reach out to our liaisons, and we'll be happy to get those questions answered for you. So that's all I have in terms of the slides, and I guess we can take some questions if anybody has any.
How long usually does it take from when you apply until you hear back?
I can answer. I'll answer that. So it kind of depends. We go through them in bins, so we get groups of applicants, and then we'll probably sit down 2 to 3 times a semester and review those applicants. The issue is, Liz, that so you're in the bin with all of our other grad students too. So not just construction management, but masters of civil engineering and PhD students. And what we try to do is, so you have like a start date. And if your start date is summer, and then we'll try to get to that, sometime either in March, by the end of March, and then if your start time is August, we try to get to those by June. So it's just generally it can be a relatively quick process, but there are also times when students don't apply in time, and we've got to put other people on the back burner while we're trying to push other people through. So I would say that if you want to start in the summer, you should know something this month. Generally, just check boxes. We look at GPA, and if the GPA is not there, then we look at the last 60 hours. If the last 60 hours is not there, then we may do a little more digging to see if there's, maybe you've got a lot of work experience. Sometimes if you have a significant amount of work experience, that may overcome a low GPA. So that's kind of the boxes that we look at.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a quick question. As far as like how the class structure is, I actually have started a master's program with a different school and have taken a semester off and have felt like maybe that wasn't the right program for me. And it was really because the program was all test based. There was no lectures, there was no homework, it was all tests. And unfortunately, I happen to be one of those lucky people that don't test well, but have gotten very far in my career and also in my education. So I realize that each class can be different, but what traditionally would the structure of the classes look like?
So I mean, I can't speak for all of our classes,
Sure.
but a typical construction management class is there'll be 15 to 20-minute lectures, multiple ones per week. My class, there's generally a homework assignment each week. There's a midterm and a final exam, some type of project. So most classes are going to have, I know our sustainability class, there's a writing component in addition to an exam. Our productivity course, there's mainly a project, and then scheduling and safety. There's a fair amount of homework that goes along with 2 exams. So most of our stuff is a recorded lectures along with homework assignments. Most of the homework assignments, each professor is different, but I have all my homework due Sunday night before the next week starts. And that gives the student the weekend to work on the homework. Then the next week starts. There is flexibility. There's not necessarily a lot of flexibility on exams. I mean, generally, you can't take any, generally, because of I'm lazy. I don't want to grade a bunch of tests out of sequence. So generally, I'd say this week is when we're going to have our exam. You can have it any time during this week, but this is the week of our exam because I want to be fair to the students and grade all the exams at the same time to make sure I'm deducting the same amount of points and stuff like that. So there's some flexibility, and sometimes life gets in the way. I mean, there's been multiple semesters I've given students eyes because things have happened during the semester, so I give them an incomplete, and they've got roughly, I think, 1 year to make up that incomplete before it automatically turns to an F. So there's flexibility.
Hello. I have 2 questions actually. I'm from India. So basically, I'm an architect. I graduated in 2022 and I'm working as a BIM architect right now. So I'm doing BIM, Revit. So I just want to ask that after doing this master's course, do we get like an internship if we want in US, or can we visit like for an internship or something?
So we, as in the construction management faculty, we won't set you up with an internship. I can circulate your resume amongst companies that I know, and we have the College of Engineering has our employment outreach opportunities, job fairs. I can put you in touch with our employment folks, career connections is what it's called, and they can assist you. But that's not necessarily anything we do. I can circulate your resume, but our career connections will be the ones to help you find a job.
Okay, but it's not like in the curriculum that for 6 months we are doing an internship or okay.
No, everything is
Yes.
completely online. At one time, we thought about trying to do that, but the more things that we require if students come here or a job or more hurdles, so it's completely all course-based, 10 classes, and that's it.
Okay.
So someone asked, Karen asked if there are prerequisite courses for this program, and there are not.
Are there any more questions for Dr. Hale?
Yeah, I've got a question. I'm sure you guys have covered this, but just to be absolutely sure, the requirements for the application, can you guys list those out real quick, just so I know? Because when you're on the application
GRE?
portal,
No GRE. A GPA of 3.0 or better overall, or 3.0 in your last 60 hours. A bachelor's degree from accredited university.
okay. Is there anything else you guys like to see on there? Because for some reason, it said on mine that I needed letters of
I know.
recommendation.
Some reason it says recommendation letters. I have no idea why it says that. The recommendation letters are not required. No statement of purpose. Nothing like that. Transcript, and then that's it.
That's going to conclude our webinar today. We're so thankful for everybody showing up today and being interested in the programs. We believe it's one of the best in the country, and we're very proud of it. And we're so thankful that you attended today. We're thankful for Dr. Hale to come in and talk to everybody. And if nobody has any more questions, well, then I have added into the chat a link to sign up for our landing page to go on there and request more information. And you should, because if you signed up for the webinar, you should already be in that email chain. But other than that, if you have any questions, our contacts are on there, and feel free to reach out anytime and we can answer any of those questions.
Yeah, and y'all can feel free to email me. I will respond. It may not be immediately, but my email address is just micah@uark.edu. I put it in the chat box. So I will respond. It may not be that day, but I will respond.
All right. Well, perfect. Thanks to everybody for showing up, and we appreciate everybody. Hope to see you as a Razorback someday soon.